Ah, England, the land of fish and chips, bad weather, and an unhealthy obsession with queuing. But before we had any of that, we had the Romans. Or rather, they had us, and oh dear, did they have us good. Julius Caesar, ever the ambitious chap, decided in 55 BC that he wanted a little adventure across the Channel. He landed with 10,000 men, saw some topless warriors screaming at him, and thought, oh dear, this was a mistake. Mother Nature clearly agreed and sent a lovely storm to trash his fleet. So, like any sensible tourist who's forgotten their passport, Caesar's men fixed his ship, grabbed some hostages and left, vowing to return. And return he did. A year later, with 800 ships, 25,000 infantry and 2,000 cavalry. Because when the British say go away, the Romans hear bring reinforcements. Fast forward 90 years. Emperor Claudius, desperate to prove he wasn't just an awkward uncle at the family gathering, decided to finish what Caesar started. With 20,000 troops and, oh yes, 28 war elephants, because why not? Claudius wanted to flex. The British understandably shat themselves. Tribes fought, chariots spun, spears flew, but in the end, discipline beats enthusiasm. Camulodunum, now modern Colchester, fell. And suddenly, Britain was open for business, whether it liked it or not. Ah yes, Boudica, England's first revenge story. When her husband died, the Romans thought, let's steal everything and brutalize her family. What could possibly go wrong? What went wrong was Boudica turned out to be quite the vengeful type, assembling 100,000 warriors and burning Colchester, London and St. Albans to the ground. Suetonius Paulinus, the Roman governor, took one look at this chaos and said, "Ah, I see we're all going to die." But Rome, being Rome, played the long game. The disciplined legions let Boudica's warriors run at them, then promptly butchered 80,000 of them in an afternoon. Boudica, sensing the vibe was off, poisoned herself. Her ghost presumably still haunts Westminster Bridge, where her statue stands today, looking like she's about to slap a tourist. I'll have to visit sometime. Now, the Scots were an entirely different breed of problem. You think you have a thick skin? Try hanging out in a Scottish modern warfare chat lobby back in the day. The Romans, realizing they couldn't be bothered to deal with them, meaning they didn't have the resources to push forward, not without compromising certain parts of England under Roman occupation, decided to build a wall instead, Hadrian's Wall, and essentially said, you stay over there, we'll stay over here. Deal? Spoiler, it didn't really work. Over the next few centuries, Britain got a glow-up. Roads, towns, villas, bathhouses, essentially Airbnb, but 2,000 years early. The upper classes got very Roman, sipping wine and attending dinner parties, while everyone else in the countryside just kept being Iron Age peasants. Meanwhile, Christianity started lurking around like an edgy teenager. By the 4th century, Emperor Constantine, who was crowned in York, by the way, made it the official religion. The Iron Age Brits probably muttered, "Excuse me, but we already worshipped a perfectly good assortment of terrifying animal gods. Thanks, but no thanks." Then, in 410 AD, Rome looked at its crumbling empire, sighed and told Britain, "Look, we'd love to help, but we're rather busy being sacked by barbarians. You're on your own, old chap." And just like that, the legions left. Villas decayed, taxes vanished, coins stopped circulating, and Britons either A. went feral, B. hired Saxon mercenaries for protection, C. got into pottery. It was a weird time, like now I guess. Then of course the Saxons realized no one was in charge and started settling en masse. A few generations later, we weren't Britons anymore. We were Angles, living in England. And thus, England was born. And before long, we'd start colonizing other people. Full circle, really. So what did the Romans ever do for us? Well, they gave us things like towns, roads, wine and taxation. But also brutal massacres, repression, and the lingering trauma of eating turnips. And yet, without them, England wouldn't be England. So, next time you complain about potholes, just remember, at least the Romans paved their bloody roads properly. Like and follow for more history lessons drenched in sarcasm and existential dread.